Welcome back, everyone, to the BODcast with Alli and Chris. I'm Alli Covington.
And I'm Chris.
And today we have a very special guest with us, the mastermind behind the technology of Vasayo. And he's going to help us understand the beauty and the magic of all of the wellness products, of which I am not completely familiar with your entire lineup, but I'm excited to learn a lot about it today. You've given me an opportunity to try it, and I was amazed at the results that I got. And so I would just love to jump right in. Mr. Trace Gibbs, thank you for being here today.
You bet. Thanks for having me on, Alli and Chris. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, my phone decides to go off at just that moment. I apologize.
I better mute mine too, just thinking about that. So you gave me an opportunity. There we go.
Go to airplane mode all of a sudden, right? So I had an opportunity. I'm just going to start in with what I've tried from your line. And I really want to understand a lot of the technology because I'm a bit of a biochemistry nerd myself. And I've done a lot of research over my decades with regard to the body and what works and health and wellness. And I'm pretty excited about what you've got going on there. So I got an opportunity to try your collagen. And I've tried other collagens. They're good, right? But yours is very unique. Yours is, first of all, you don't take it every day. And that was fascinating to me. And I'd like to know why, like what's behind that, but it has a very specific delivery system, which I am really excited about. So can we jump right into the technology behind the delivery system, biochemically, how it works, what makes it super different from all the other collagens that are out there that somebody could pick up from Costco. And yeah, let's start there.
Yeah. So the formulation, the technology behind the collagen directly correlates to why you don't need to take it every day. And that's actually based on clinical science, clinical studies I was involved in many, many years ago in Japan. But let's talk about the technology. Nanotechnology is kind of the thing of the future. A lot of companies are moving towards that, whether it's mycelial technology or liposome technology or what's called solid lipid nanoparticles, which, by the way, was the delivery system for the COVID vaccinations. So nanotechnology is cutting edge when it comes to science, and very few dietary supplement companies are using it. And when it comes down to collagen, it's all about particle size. Collagen, as people know, it's a protein. And so if you have this uber large molecule that you ingest and swallow, your body treats it like a protein, and it's going to break it down into amino acids.
Right.
You don't get to decide where those amino acids are going to be used because your body is going to use them wherever they need to be used. Some people might need it for immune function. Some people might need it for muscle development. Some people might need it for hair growth, whatever. They're amino acids, right? They're basic building blocks for your body. But if you want collagen to go to where collagen is going to look and appear to your skin, where specific types of collagen are going to go, you need to keep that collagen a collagen molecule instead of having the body digest it as a protein. So we used a nanotechnology to do that, what we call micronization. So we first used a hydrolyzed, so a water-soluble version of collagen. And then we micronized it, making ultra small molecules. So you get 100% absorption into the bloodstream quickly, whether that's via your mouth or the epithelial lining of your esophagus. You get quick absorption before it even hits the digestive tract or your stomach, I should say. And because you're getting large amounts of this collagen in a micronized dose, you don't need to do it every single day because too much collagen is a bad thing as well.
Tell me about that for a second. How is too much collagen a bad thing?
Well, so arterial plaque, which we all don't want, right? One of the major causes of cardiovascular disease. There are basically kind of there's really 4 types of arterial plaque, but the 3 most common is platelet buildup, what's called thrombosis, right? You also have calcifications, so like overuse or overproduction of calcium can also cause that in connection with the bad cholesterol levels. But a lot of people don't know that a very common type of arterial plaque is actually collagen-based plaque. It's typically common in people who are obese, morbidly obese, because the more cells you have in your body, the more collagen your body needs to produce to hold those cells together, right? Collagen is what kind of binds all of our cells together. Overproduction or overuse or consumption of collagen can lead to arterial plaque.
Really? So of course my mind immediately goes to why it really looks like people are blaming meat for their heart disease. Is it really more the collagen that can be found in meat that is doing it more than the meat itself?
Yeah, it's one of many, I'm not even going to say debates, because I have spoken with literally dozens of heart surgeons out there the cutters, right? Yeah. Not cardiologists, but surgeons who actually go in and have to cut this stuff out. And many of them are cutting into people who don't have elevated cholesterol levels, who don't have elevated triglyceride levels. Many times the cause is inflammation, but other times it's this calcium or collagen buildups as well that cause the blockages. So it's not all about those, three main markers that everybody talks about, right? Cholesterol, triglycerides, and diabetes, sugar related. But by the way, there is such thing as sugar related plaque too, but it's a lot more brittle, and it really only adheres to your artery wall if your arteries are super hardened already. So what they call arterial sclerosis, right? Where the hardening of the walls. In those cases, you might get plaque from sugar crystals as well, but that's a more rare, very rare.
Gotcha. So this is exactly why we want the collagen to go directly to our skin and not just be digested. That's fascinating. I wasn't able to get this off your website. So I'm loving this conversation here. So what I noticed in my skin was it's not dry, right? All through winter. I started taking this right before Christmas and was not dry. That's the first thing I noticed. And then everything just feels firmer and lighter and, softer, and really the more noticeable effect right there on my skin. My hair is growing in too, in a way that, I've had, 3 babies and I'm 46. And so people would typically say, it's not going to get much better. And I want my hair back. But so is hair growth a part of that too? Or was I just lucky and my timing was good?
No, it's absolutely a part of it, because the belase of collagen is not just collagen. Collagen is a very important ingredient in our product, which is why we named it collagen. But we have a hydrolyzed and micronized keratin as well. And keratin is a major component for eyelash, eyebrow, hair function, nail and skin, right? Yep. We also have biotin, which promotes healthy hair growth. We have vitamin C. We have a pomegranate extract, which is a free radical scavenger to protect your skin from free radical damage. So it's a unique combination of ingredients that you won't find anywhere else but the belase of collagen.
Right. I have not heard of anything that has anything like this, and it's really affordable. I was surprised, because with this kind of technology, you would think that it would be really expensive.
Yeah, especially with the ample amounts of hyaluronic acid, which is in the formula as well.
That's in there too.
To mention that one, the hyaluronic acid is actually very expensive, and we're talking $2,000 to $3,000 a kilogram for this ingredient.
Yeah.
So to get the quantity that we have in there, it is a very affordable product when you consider the combination.
I love it. Now, I was watching an interview that your CEO did with a friend of mine, and he was talking about a trifecta of products that you guys have developed. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Something about like endless energy or ageless energy or something like that. And like the implication was that they all work together so cohesively that like this is all you really need. And they were talking about kids using it too. So, and I've got 3 of them.
Yeah, well, this trifecta that they're talking about, it's really just things that we're missing in our diet. everybody knows the story, and I'm sure you know about how our soils are depleted. But regardless of whether our soils are depleted or not, let's go back to the primary cause. We just don't eat the way we know we're supposed to eat, right?
Oh, you are preaching to the choir. This is what I talk about all day long. Yeah.
So when we talk about a trifecta, Vasayo's primary goal was to get people the nutrients that basically we should have been getting anyway. So we have a product. I actually brought the bag here, and I'm drinking another one here. This is Core Complete. It's called Core because this product contains whole food, food-based vitamins, macro minerals, like our calcium comes from brown algae in the Iceland area. It has magnesium, which also is a brown algae. We've got spirulina, which contains the vitamin B12. Our other B vitamins like B1, B2, B3, B6 all come from nutritional yeast. So this is a food product. So regardless of whether you're eating healthy or not, this product will give you food-based nutrients. Because it's food-based, we also have live enzymes in it. It has probiotics, 3 strains of probiotics at a good quantity. Ooh. We have raw, virgin, unprocessed salmon oil in it. So salmon oil naturally contains omega-3s, omega-5s, omega-6, 7s, and 9s. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole food salmon oil as well. So if you take that product as your core, and then I've got another product here, I think, well, this is not my water. Inside the water bottle is a product called V3 that also gives you natural energy, because this is also food-based. It's green. There's no added caffeine or things like that in here. This is green tea, maca root, Panax ginseng, theobromine, which is a dopamine enhancer. So, I mean, basically, if you were to eat dark chocolate, have a cup of green tea, if you're South American and you drink your maca tea or maca root, they make a little smoothie thing out of the maca root. And if you were eating a variety of foods, you would be getting this trifecta, 2 or 3 different products worth of nutrients daily, but nobody does that. Right. Even I don't eat the way I know I should be eating, even though I probably eat better than most, but I'm not perfect yet, right? So this trifecta that Dallin was talking about is the Core Complete, the V3, our other products like Eternal for anti-aging, which is also a super fruit blend with glutathione and other things in it too. Those 3 products work so harmoniously together that everybody that uses those 3 on a regular basis, it really is like youth restoration. We're getting people who are my age, I'm a little older than you, but feeling like we're in our late 30s and stuff again. Or actually, I feel better now than I did in my early 30s. I don't think I was a very healthy person in my early 30s, even though I was in the industry. And you've been in the industry and talking nutrition for years. Yes. But the more we learn, the more we can improve. And Vasayo, I think, is just one step up from anything you've ever experienced before.
That's the impression that I'm getting very, very quickly. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, though, because so many companies extract the vitamin from its natural resource, when all of the other, micronutrients in that natural whole food are what make the vitamin really, really work inside of our body. So what I'm understanding, if I'm correct, is you've taken that whole food and you've retained those micronutrients as well. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Like somebody emailed me the other day and they said, hey, I need vitamin K1, but I don't see it on your label. And I'm like, well, it's in there. And they're like, well, why isn't it written on the label? And I can't analyze for all the thousands of nutrients that are in Core. Of course it has vitamin K because look, it's got barley grass and wheatgrass and alfalfa and spirulina and chlorella. All those are dark green leafies, right? So of course, dark green leafies have vitamin K in them. It's got mushroom blends in it, so you're getting your vitamin D. There's like 6 different mushrooms in here, 7 enzymes, 3 probiotics. I mean, again, the 72 different trace minerals we have analyzed and are found in this product. So it's just not all written on the label. We wrote the food names on the label instead of the individual nutrient components because we're not adding the individual nutrients as isolates. It's in there because it's in the food.
So how did you come upon Vasayo? How did you come upon all this technology? Like give me some background story for you now that I'm super
Yeah.
impressed with your company and what you've done for it. How did you get?
Well, so I've been formulating dietary supplements my entire adult life. My first formula was at age 24 for myself. I was diagnosed with hypoglycemia and created and was going to school at the time too. So I was well aware of anatomy and what my problem was, why my body wasn't converting carbohydrates into glucose. Because it's funny, they didn't have a name for it back then, back in the early 90s, but they call it hold on, it's a brand new, you only hear about commercials recently. It's an endocrine pancreatic disorder. My body was not producing the enzymes necessary to break down my carbohydrates into glucose. I was lacking carbohydrate digestive enzymes. So anyway, I created a formula. One day, a doctor friend of mine that I used to golf a lot with saw me take this tablespoon of stuff before we had lunch. And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, I told him what it was. He's like, do you know how many people have hypoglycemia? We could sell this stuff. So literally since age 24, I was producing and commercializing formulas. And that led to working with over 60 companies in 16 different countries, traveling the world, formulating products for people. My products have sold well over $3.5 billion throughout the world. So when Dallin wanted to do one last big shebang with Vasayo, and while he was developing Vasayo, a friend of his who knew me put me in touch with Dallin, told him about me. Dallin called me one day and said, hey, I heard you're a formulator. What's the latest and greatest? If cost wasn't an issue, what would you produce is the best? And I said, well, the future is in liposome technology. It's nano delivery of nutraceuticals. He's like, never heard of it, but it sounds cool. Let's talk. So I came on board early on in the days of Vasayo and have formulated all their products.
Wow. It sounds like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I was at a position at that time where, just selling formulas to countries around the world wasn't personally satisfying for me. I don't get to see the results. In fact, sometimes I don't even know the finished name, like the retail name. I'd be in a health food store someday and I like reading labels. And one day I was at a local grocery store and I was reading a label with my wife. And she's like, hey, honey, do you recognize this? And I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, that's one of my products. That's my formula. And then I look at the name of the company on the back and yeah, I sold that formula to them. Wow. That's about as gratifying as it got. Being with Vasayo allowed me an opportunity to be one-on-one with people who use my products and get to hear their stories and have them share their experiences. And it's so satisfactory. I mean, I love, formulas are kind of like my babies. And when you see them change people's lives, it's like, oh, my baby grew up and he's helping people now, it's kind of cool.
Right. It's really fulfilling. So, what would you say for the kids? What could the kids take of your lineup that would really help them? Because you know how kids are picky eaters.
Yeah.
I got one of those.
I would say all of our products are safe for kids to take simply because they all are rooted and based on food ingredients. Mm-hmm. Many of them are whole food. My daughter was still an infant when I began formulating for Vasayo. And as early as 2 years old, once she stopped breastfeeding, I started giving her some Vasayo products. She loves the Eternal. It tastes like candy. We actually bribe her with Eternal. Like if she wants a snack, we're like, you go clean your room and then we'll give you Eternal. And boy, she shuffles off and cleans her room.
You need to tell me more about that one.
We've sprinkled the Core Complete into her favorite yogurt or applesauce. Okay. So you break open the capsules and sprinkle them in there because, she's only 5 now and she can't swallow capsules yet.
Right.
Many of our products are liquid. So you can put them in a fruit juice or mix them into a yogurt or a smoothie, her favorite smoothie, things like that. That's what we do for our children.
Okay. Yeah, the collagen is delicious.
Yeah, and the Eternal, seriously, get this. I know people who pour Eternal over their pancakes because they think it tastes like a berry syrup. It's really yummy.
What does the Eternal do? What is that particular product?
So Eternal is our anti-aging super nutrient product. It is 10 super berries. So it has the maqui berry in it, the acai berry, raspberries, blueberries, just all of these great, what we call polyphenols, right? Antioxidants that protect your body from free radical damage. It also contains glutathione, which is the body's major antioxidant. There's a little bit of collagen in the Eternal as well. So it's our answer to the aging process. So do children need Eternal? No. Can they take Eternal? Yes. Should they take Eternal? You know, anybody after age 24 should be taking it. Your body's levels of glutathione start to drop when you hit 24. It's why you look great up until about age 27, and then you actually start, you know, showing your age a little bit, depending on how rough you treat your body. But children can certainly take Eternal. It has, you know, amazing benefits for them as far as the polyphenols, the antioxidants.
You know, the glutathione was something I was going to ask you about, because in a lot of the research that I've done, so many mood disorders are deficient, that people are deficient in glutathione. And I'm wondering if, I know you can't make those types of claims, but knowing that there's a high amount of it in that product, I would imagine people would see maybe some reduction of ADHD symptoms and things like that because of that, and maybe even sleep better.
Yeah, as the formulator, people have access to my Facebook account as well as my email and whatnot. And I hear many stories like that all the time. And again, at Vasayo, we're not making any claims whatsoever, because look, you can't make claims with dietary supplements. They're not formulated to treat diseases.
Right.
But at the same time, even recently with this virus that everybody's fearful of, just Google that and glutathione, and you'll see that it is directly linked. The severity of your symptoms with that virus are directly linked to low levels of glutathione. It's a very important antioxidant in your body that doesn't just act as an antioxidant. It works with other systems in your body as well, particularly your immune cells.
Right. And you also mentioned there's some probiotics. There's 3 strains of bacteria
in the Core Complete. Yes.
Which strains are they?
So L. plantarius, L. bifidus, and acidophilus.
Why did you choose those 3?
Well, they're the 3 that are found mostly in our food products, in food ingredients. And again, this is a food-based product. You can, again, isolate and grow strains on different mediums like corn and soy and things that we didn't want to use, where most of these other strains come from. But those are the 3 that your body sloughs off the most. They're the 3 most common in your gut. And look, we don't have, 10 billion CFUs per gram, humongous quantities, which, look, if you've been on an antibiotic, you should be on a 2 billion and higher strain for a week or 2. But the fact of the matter is, if you have gut bacteria's sole purpose in life is to eat and breed, and then they die. And your body sloughs off about 300 to 500 million CFUs, what's called colony forming units, every day. So because Core Complete is the daily use product, we put 300 million CFUs of those in there, so that you're basically maintaining your supply without overdoing it. They're only called friendly bacteria because your immune system keeps them in check. So supplementing with billions and billions every single day can actually be taxing on your immune system, and I don't recommend it. I recommend it for 2 weeks or so after you've been on an antibiotic, or if you've done a colonic enema, right, a coffee enema or a garlic enema or whatever. I mean, there are health people that do that. If you flushed your GI tract, then you should supplement with a large amount for a week or 2, and that's it. You don't need to do it every single day for life,
Yeah, no, I do know. Wow, this is really, really wonderful. And how long have you guys been around?
Vasayo is in its 5th year right now.
Oh, that's very early.
Very new. And we've been ranked. Last year, we received an award, top 50 healthcare companies in the world.
Really?
And we were the only direct sales company to be in that top 50.
Wow.
So we're getting recognized, that's for sure.
That's a huge thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
really exciting. Whew. Chris, do you have any questions? I mean, you like, my partner here, Chris, likes to sit in the background and percolate on things while I run my mouth off, and then he comes up with something out of the blue and I go, oh, that's a great question. I hadn't thought of that. He's a bit of a science nerd like me, but he's not as outspoken about it. He's had his own journey with, health and weight loss and things like that, and so on.
Yeah, I think like where my questions come from would be in that realm of weight loss. That's kind of one that means a lot to me, and I've gone through my journey. So I started out a couple of years ago. I was almost 400 pounds and had really struggled with food for quite a while. And there's all kinds of gimmicks out there on weight loss pills and supplements and take this, take that of what to do. But I kind of knew on some level there's no real replacement for just getting the work done.
Yeah.
But now that I'm on the side of it, I'm like, okay, I can also see how there probably are some supplements, especially gut health related, and certain ones that are harder to get that really help fuel that fat burning part of it. So would love to kind of, that would be where my questions would go, is in that direction of like, what can people do in that regard?
Yeah, well, we do have a couple of weight management products, but I'm right there with the same belief system that you were, that dietary supplements, especially that there's no one pill that will really achieve weight loss. In fact, I tell people all the time, look, if you really want to lose weight, buy duct tape, tape your freaking mouth shut, and then you'll stop eating so much and you'll lose weight. I know that it's a lot more than that. I say that as a joke because I know there's psychological reasons, there's mood reasons, there's metabolic reasons for it, but I do look at weight gain as three major causes. Number one cause being overeating, especially because weight gain and morbid obesity is typically only found in modern developed countries where food access is too common. Okay. You don't see it anywhere else. So obviously overeating is the number one cause of weight. But then there really is such a thing as metabolic syndrome. It's not as prevalent as people like to blame it, but I would, if I had to guesstimate, I'd say 18 to 20% of obesity is caused by metabolic syndrome, where people actually have burned out adrenals because of overcaffeination, overstress, things like that, right? And then a third cause would be the hormone-related causes, whether that's pre or post-menopausal in women, andropause in men, or your stress-related hormones, cortisol, adiponectin, and leptin levels. Leptin, primarily the one that tells your body to store nutrients as fat. And so when we built the Vasayo weight management products, we looked at those three main causes. We found a patented, clinically proven ingredient for appetite suppressants for people who just couldn't control their appetite. We found mood enhancers like dopamine to give you the happy hormone, because a lot of times it's depression eating, right? That is a thing, emotional eating. So our weight management program boosts dopamine and serotonin levels to give you that happy, euphoric feeling, along with some appetite suppressants. And that's in one product, our V-Slim. We have another product called V-Burn, which targets specifically the cortisol, leptin, and adiponectin, because stress, we're all stressed out today. If you carry a cell phone, you've got too much stress, right?
No kidding.
And in fight or flight mode, our DNA, literally the way our bodies were made when our ancestors were running from saber-toothed tigers and everything was, if you are in fight or flight mode, you don't know when you're going to eat again, because we were hunter-gatherers. And if we were the ones being hunted, there was no time for gathering, right? So your body goes into storage mode when you have high levels of stress. The problem is we're not running from saber-toothed tigers anymore. We're sitting down, but our brain is being chased by a saber-toothed tiger because our boss is yelling at us, or our wife is, whatever. Our social media, this war in Ukraine that really has zero impact on our lives is causing everyone stress.
Right.
Anyway, so whatever, we have a product that addresses those. And then we have meal replacement or products that can act like a meal replacement. We have a high protein drink that when you take with core can act as a meal replacement and things like that. So it's a weight management program to help address the three major causes of weight gain in all areas: emotional, the physical, as far as the overeating, and the hormone levels.
Which was the one with the dopamine and serotonin?
Well, that's our V3, the one that I'm actually drinking right now. Yeah.
Perfect. Because I mean, what immediately came to mind is two of my clients that are going through grief, managing grief, and that could help ease those symptoms while they're processing.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's helped me this week. I had a tragic event last week happen, and it took me a day or two to pull out of it. And my wife was finally like, hey, go back, start playing some basketball, take your V3. And look, the tragedy's still there, but I'm feeling a lot better about things, c'est la vie, life goes on,
Yeah. Well, it's all about how we're managing our perception of it. But those neurotransmitters are a big portion of our perception of tragedies and traumas. So that is going to help a few of my clients really, really a lot. Yeah.
And I can see how that would very much trigger down into, like, you start off, something happens. You hear a lot of stories like this. It's like something happens, or some tragedy, or just something in life that triggers them off into eating, and then it becomes a habit fairly quickly. So many of these foods, that's one of the biggest problems, is that if you don't have any kind of eating disorders at all, you can go have a bag of chips or some Doritos or some blah 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 for one weekend and then put it away, like most people probably do. But if you then build a habit out of it, and once it becomes a week and then a month, that's where you slide down the slope. That starts to really have a whole lot of problems to develop. You end up with a bunch of gut health issues that just spiral the whole thing. So much over the last few months talking with other people about how gut microbiome can you build up a certain strains of gut biome that actually crave more sugar. Mess with your head and be like, no, we're going to stress you out because you're not giving us what we want. You end up with stress responses that aren't even coming from outside; they're almost like coming from inside.
Exactly.
Then your own body.
No, you've nailed it. It's one of the reasons why we chose to use it. And here's a packet of V3, by the way. Chose to use like maca and theobromine and stuff as serotonin and dopamine enhancers, because without this, you do eat those foods and they do temporarily raise your dopamine. You feel better as you're eating, but your body's not getting the nutrition, or you're not getting that feeling of satiety. So you keep eating and eat more. And this stops that in its tracks, because it gives you the nutrients, but also increases your serotonin and dopamine levels.
I love that. Oh, I want to go back to what you were talking about with your hypoglycemia for a minute back then. So for people that are pre-diabetic, that they're doing things, they're trying to bring their blood sugars down. Have you heard anybody through the emails or your Facebook group telling you that they started taking one of the products and their blood sugars were coming back down into normal ranges? Because I've seen some people that even though they're not consuming carbohydrates, they're not able to bring their blood sugars down, which, tells me that it's a lot more severe than they thought it was.
Yeah. And it's one of the more common emails we get. And it simply goes right back into some of our formulas, our V-Slim formula and our Core Complete. Both contain enzymes to help your body process carbohydrates more efficiently. The V-Slim in particular contains chromium and vanadium, which are trace minerals that have been shown to help your body become more sensitive to insulin. Those are clinically, proven ingredients that we've added to some of our products.
That's great. That's really great. Okay. Oh, there's so much here. And all of a sudden,
we have a lot more products than just what we've covered. But look, know this: Vasayo is an advanced delivery technology company. We're not. I don't look at us as a normal dietary supplement company, because we focus on getting the nutrients to the bloodstream, not just what's popular on the label. You know, a lot of people, like when ginkgo biloba was popular, everybody was buying ginkgo biloba, and then you saw it all over Amazon, and it went from $60 a bottle down to $3 a bottle after a while because it was so widely, you know, consumed. We don't follow trends. In fact, I think we're a trendsetter. And I will, you can mark this, and this is recorded. I guarantee you, in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see more and more liposomal companies or companies claiming liposomal delivery pop up because we are the trendsetter. We have advanced delivery technology, and it's one of the reasons why people feel different on our formulas. So advanced delivery, awesome nutrients, complete quality control from start to finish. We know our buyers, we know our suppliers. You know, we produce our products in an NF certified facility. We're pretty cutting edge when it comes to all of these technologies. And again, you don't find that too much in, well, especially not the companies you see like on Amazon.com and whatnot, but I mean, in the industry in general.
Well, the fact that, I mean, the collagen gets into your bloodstream without even hitting your stomach is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's like, that's nanotechnology. That's why pharma's been using it. Big pharma's been using nanotechnology for 20, 30 years now. And it's, why don't dietary supplement companies use it? Many of it was wrapped up in patents, but those patents have expired, but most people don't have the know-how. We have a great scientific team at Vasayo. So
that you're the head of.
Yes.
And we really appreciate the time that you've taken away from your cutting edge technology company to visit with us today, because I know that's not a small thing. And I appreciate the people that put us in contact with one another. I'm really, really grateful for the time that we've spent today. And with that, I think I've got my questions answered. I'm ready to send your products out to some clients right now so that they can start feeling better and work with them on the rest of what they have going on.
Great. Well, if you've got more questions, feel free, again, email me. You've got my email address now. I also have, if you go to Facebook, it's Tracy Gibbs at Vasayo Science.
Okay.
You can find my professional page there and message me directly there. I'm pretty good at getting back with responses, usually within 24 hours.
Well, I'm impressed. Thank you so much for being here. And with that, we'll let you go and continue rocking the world.
Thank you for having me on, Alli.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.